Blog Talk Radio. Ooh, hello everybody. Go to that door. Welcome to the Mortuary of Shadows. Mortuary of Shadows is brought to you by a poetic slice of life, which is a group on allpoetry.com, owned by my lovely wife Kay, who is sitting next to me.
Hello.
Hello. And I am Stan76. Tonight it's on a special night. Usually this is on Tuesday night, but we had some technical difficulties last Tuesday, so we rescheduled for a special day so we can get the rest of these Joker poems read. This is part 2 of the many faces of the Joker. Anybody who listened to part 1, hopefully you're back to hear this, because there are still some great poems to be read about this character.
Yeah, our contest had a lot of great rights to it. Did you say who we are and the deal? Okay, sorry. You're terrible. You know, that's what happens when you multitask, because then you miss on certain things. So tell me what you want to do.
I thought you wanted to.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll do it now. I just wanted to say a special thank you because we have been doing this for 5 weeks now, and we are vested in moving forward with doing this. And in that time, we have gained countries, but what astounded me yesterday was when I was on Blog Talk getting things ready for a future episode. We actually picked up three countries yesterday, and that kind of surprised me because in the span of a day, that's actually a big deal to pick up 3 different countries. So I just wanted to say a special shout out because U.S. has 61% of listeners, and UK is our second biggest listener, and India is our third biggest listener, and then Japan, New Zealand, Canada, and the Philippines. And then the ones that I noticed we picked up yesterday is Slovenia, Austria, and Mexico. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for listening out there.
Yeah, whoever's out there listening, thank you. And I hope that you like what you're listening to and you continue.
Our voices are being heard around the world.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good about what you're doing because I bust my ass to do what I'm doing here. So that makes me feel good. Thank you.
All right. We go to the phone lines and let's welcome Raz into the room. Hello, Raz.
How you doing, Steve? I hear that
Good. How you
you're doing a show on the Joker tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
I had a poem in mind that concerned the series before it became the Joker. There was the Dark Knight, and that led to a tragedy in Aurora, Colorado, concerning a man named James Holmes, who tragically took the lives of other moviegoers on the night of its release. And since then, if you just pay attention to the news, all you ever see is mass shootings. Just today in Pensacola, Florida, there was a shooting at a naval base. And the other day, there was one in Hawaii concerning Pearl Harbor. So the theme is kind of dark, but you said that your show is also on a mortuary of shadows?
Yeah, it's our dark show, so.
Seems dark things would be mass shootings, of which we could only pray the world has less gun violence.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, it didn't used to be that way.
No, it definitely. You didn't hear about it like you do back like in the 80s and that. It doesn't. It seems like it's an outbreak almost.
Yeah, it would only go on every now and then, but I mean, it was just the other month also in California, I believe, there was a threat to a school in which people had to be evacuated because of a mass shooter. So, it's all you ever see on the news.
Yeah.
I would agree because actually the hometown that I was born in was it like less than 10 years ago, 5 years ago maybe. The high school that I went to for freshman year, there was a shooting there, and our niece was there.
Yeah.
So that was, that hit a little close to home, and it's sad that you can't even go to school without having to worry about your children not being safe. Actually.
Yeah.
It makes me glad my son's an adult now, and I don't have to worry about something like that.
It's really not fair for the students because the government's supposed to provide a place of safety in which the student alumni body can learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With these security measures even in place, there's the likelihood that someone might become slightly brainwashed and take out that kind of hostility. In Parkland, Florida, there was yet another tragedy involving a man named Nicholas Cruz the prior year, and that took down the lives of nearly 20 students. Parkland.
Wow.
Yeah.
But if you don't mind, I mean, I'd care to write a poem which commemorates the very thought of these inexcusable crimes happening in this nation. It's called Bulletproof Glass.
Yeah, we're going to get ready to drop it in the room if you want to read it.
Yes, I am going to
drop that
now.
for you? All right.
I got
Bulletproof Glass.
It's in there.
Bulletproof glass. The metal detector clicked into place, watching control monitors of the student body, entering the facility for corporate recruiting, based on the programming language designed by Francis Bacon pragmatism, Bill Gates web exploitation, screensaver handwriting, algebraic formulas, the graffiti stucco alcoves, and wall to the heated metropolis borrowed out of like-set Watt theories, Bohr's logic, quantum computation of the National Institution data server, freedom of the press and freedom of speech, basic principles the Government Weekly Review Board stress, which is not Facebook Live, viewing scenes of homegrown terrorism, or tormenting the subject whose strap on the camera lens treated of no difference to mine. Leroy Lee sizzling. The capital punishment, one day on television or nightly news, would amount on passing the dinner side dishes. Subconscious influences on whether or not forced anxiety, if homeless substitution is really worth dying, to defy the gun policies the NRA promote, to a Chi-Town modern shooting rate, 3,000 or more per statistical year. The blank unleashed rounds and anger management. Even 80s videos arcades did not include live targets in order to practice, and Stephen Paddock saw a country festival on a penthouse balcony and reduced the honky-tonk lagoon to 60 decimated, holding up a quiet alarm for the silent regard. Why it comes to this, an unknown brainwashing the State Department has a loss of words to describe. Outside behavioral psychology and Obama's haunted heartbreak over the innocent children that were taken out of commission in the happiest days of their lives. In Sandy Hook, because of the underlying motive, the cultural prejudice on special privileges. Bulletproof glass is our safety warning. If the shots go off, who's heating the non-perishable goods, verging from expiring because of used-up time management? Bulletproof glass blocked out, frail, and the damage. From harm's way lets the fallout lights shine on the rolled-up eyeballs. Direct stimuli flashcarded of exact knowledge. Theme. Well,
yeah. This is pretty good.
We could all deep. Just go on praying in silence, but if we don't really complain enough times that we don't want to be handed off in single file for the next gun massacre to happen, when is there going to be any real change to this?
Yeah. There's. You want to go? Okay. Well, I'm commenting on this poem. There's a lot of truth in this, Raz. This is very dark and deep, and the imagery that you use. Violence does seem to be everywhere, and I see the metaphor that you use in speaking about how we're becoming so numb to it as well. If we could, pass the potatoes while we watch it on the news. This is an amazing write, man. Well done.
Thank you very much, sir. I just wanted to share. If there's someone out there that they realize that we have a problem that has to change somehow concerning our domestic safety.
Yeah, indeed.
Indeed, yeah. It seems like you hear about something on a daily basis.
Like I said last time, the truth is out there, like they said on the X-Files, and there has to be someone who's listening. But I'll just take my stage off from this mortuary of shadows and head the other way. You have a good evening, sir.
You too. Thanks for calling.
No problem.
Okay, well.
Did you want to make a comment on this poem?
Yeah, I will. Yeah. It is very true because as we discussed just a few moments ago, I grew up in Chardon and I think it was like 5, 6 years ago, there was a school shooting there and there were only a few fatalities. It was mostly a lot of people that were hurt, but the problem is because it was my hometown, I live like maybe 40 minutes away from my hometown. I heard a lot of the comings and goings where it created its own ripple effect that didn't last for some time after because, moments like that, it actually does create a chain of events that does carry on to other people because the one family whose child was murdered. The father, he couldn't handle it. He committed suicide. So, and I felt for that family greatly because, they lost their child, but the father, he couldn't handle it. And he basically left his wife to handle the burden of the grief of losing her child and then her husband. So, I think back to situations like that, my heart goes out to them because when you lose a child, it takes everything from you. And I feel greatly for that woman that she has to carry on her own. And I can't even begin to imagine the amount of grief that she carries because of the loss. And because this happened so close to home, I've heard so many different perspectives from so many different sides because, it was televised and it was in the papers, you heard it on the news, and you were kept up to date about a court case and when he was sentenced. And then because it's so close to home, we also heard, what was going on to those families as well and how it affected them. Because it is a chain effect. It affects other people. You don't realize all the ways that it does. And it is kind of true. We have become numb to a lot in society because you hear about it so often. It's like almost on a daily basis there's another incident. And I don't know when or how we got to that point where certain people felt it was okay to play God.
I don't know where it came from either. I'm not going to speculate. I mean, there's so many people with different opinions as to where it came from.
I know.
And there's some people that blame violent video games, violent movies. I've been watching violent movies all my life, and I've never felt the need to take a gun into work and, shoot everybody. I've been playing violent video games, too, for a long time, and I've never felt the urge.
Well, see, me being me, I think that it's something more. It's a little bit of what is within you, but also trauma, because trauma does create certain things within a person. And a lot of these people in the past who have done these things, they had their own troubled past with mental health issues, or they had a trauma that broke them, and then they never were right after that.
Yeah.
So I do believe that, there are circumstances that come into play. Sometimes I think it's easy to just put a little scapegoat on something instead of acknowledging what the real problem is. Because I will just say this. The mental health issue is something that needs to be addressed greatly. It does not get the attention it needs to. And I see that all the time because of my brother. My brother is bipolar, and he currently is not taking care of himself yet again. And it weighs heavy on me because he's a person who's not safe to be around when he's in his state. And it makes me feel kind of shitty when we have to turn him away because he's so erratic. And he talks about himself in the third person and he says all these crazy things. And he's proven that he's not safe to be around because he has pulled weapons on people. He has used violence against people. And it's very sad to say that the only time one feels safe is when he's locked up either in prison or a mental health facility. So, yeah, I can easily say that the mental health issue, it needs to be addressed on a wider spectrum because people like my brother and so many others, they slip through the cracks. They get a little bit of treatment that they need, but they don't get the full benefit of it because it all comes down to that crummy thing of insurance. as to how much it will pay, especially if it is state-funded insurance. It will only take you so far. And then they say, well, the money's ran out, so get out.
Yeah, better luck next time.
Yeah. So then that also creates the problem of homelessness.
Yeah.
And, these are all different facets that I know well because my brother, he touches on that in life. So, yeah, it's a tricky subject. It's a slippery slope. And it seems like it's only getting better, and you need to address all the other perspectives, too.
Yeah.
Or else it's only going to get worse.
Yep.
That's how I see it.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to drop this one down now because on the board, our newest member, J.E.G., he just wrote it. So I'm going to drop that on the board now. Now what you read?
Nope.
Here I go.
All right. This is from JEG325, or as we better know him as John, and it's called The Joker's Afoot. I couldn't walk where you wanted me to. I had too many nightmares to get through, so I've decided to hide behind this grin. It's how I keep the world from getting in. I'll never be the man I wanted to be, so I decided to set my inner child free. I bet you don't like the results of this. I laugh even harder at the things you miss. You only know a fraction of what I do. This Joker will never reveal himself to you. Just when you think you've seen it all, my next trick is in place and ready to fall. I'm laughing uproariously at your futility and trying to figure out the likes of me. To quote old Sherlock, the game's afoot. I love to watch your hopes going kaput. I am the master magician of the trick. What's in my head would make you sick. If you look left, I will be on the right. You'll find me hiding in plain sight. Good night from atop the ivory tower. The next trick will arrive with a shower. Will it be glue, acid, poison, or even worse? I'll watch the bodies leaving in a hearse. End poem. Well, now this is really cool.
Yeah?
Yes. I like the rhyme. I like the different perspective he gives on the Joker, setting his inner child free. Of course, we all know he hides behind that smile when he's not really smiling in his brain. I like the, if you look left, I'll be on the right. You'll find me hiding in plain sight. Sometimes that's the best place to hide, too. Never expect them to be right in front of you. Will it be glue, acid, poison, or even worse? Watch you walk, going away in a hearse. This is, very dark, very well done. What do you think, hon?
Yeah, I would have to agree because the ride itself, it definitely embodies everything of what the Joker is, but it also speaks to the mind of anybody who has had a break of the mind, actually, about all the different faces that they wear and really truly being able to figure out what is in front of you, because sometimes they may not even know. Every day will be different, and they'll always be one step ahead, and they will always make sure that you'll never figure it out. I definitely see a lot of the Joker aspects in here. Laughing uproariously at your futility at trying to figure it out. Because, as he says, you'll never really figure it out. So I'll always be technically one step ahead, and then never being the man that he wants, he was expected to be. He decided to set the inner child free, but speculating that people won't like the results of this. Yeah. The Joker, he had a break of the mind, and he ran with it. And this, it does go back with what I just said, because with my brother, you can never expect what each day is going to hold. Because yesterday he was very manic and talking about himself in the third person and belligerent, and today he was just drunk, and the story was always changing. So, I do have to imagine when you're in that mindset, every day is different, where you want to be something else, but technically the mind has its own ideas. And seeing as, it's your body, it's your mind, you know how it works, You know how to roll with it, where whatever comes upon that day, you'll roll with it and you'll own it, and you'll make sure that nobody knows what's behind the mask that you carry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought this was pretty cool, right?
Excellent. Yeah. Shall we
Totally what?
get reading those contest poems?
Sure. Yeah, well, I'm going to be a selfish cow.
Selfish cow. What the hell are you talking about?
What the hell are you talking about? I wrote two, so I'm going to read my first one, and then I'm going to close up my second one. And then we will go for contest winners, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Because I actually was pretty excited about this. So, and when I looked past in my rights, I realized I had more Joker rights than I realized, which means that he too fascinates me. And seeing as I've lived with my own sort of craziness my whole life, I understand it well. Okay, this one, let me run to my page. This one I wrote for the show. And this one I call Skin Deep. The agent of chaos dreams of color, paints images, the puzzlement upon others they can't really see reality. Inner torment washes over a banner clown weeping, flashing out in fits of honesty, seen as insanity, flashed in aimless disorganization. Helter-skelter of delicate carelessness becomes a spontaneous combustion of crimson hues of agitation. Leaving inspirations imprinted to unresponsive consciousness, disturbance of despondency becomes delicious disconnection. Eyes of darkness becomes madman barking at cars, chasing them down looking for a bone to pick. Batter and pain of animated China doll is the expert chemist throwing weaponized toxins. There are no beauty queens here with imprinted scars on flesh, only truth. Trapped and drowning, swearing in hymns, cherubim. I'm trying. A tempest that rage was a soul that burned like fire, setting the night ablaze. I'm not the person they're looking for, not anymore. Death by hellfire's renewal. Or even the devil on my shoulder asks, what the fuck are you doing? Don't you know? Sometimes it's better to sit quietly and not speak to anyone, because a prisoner of sanity can't see clearly, be free like the rest of us who have devoured every morsel of darkness and smile. Dancing in the flames ignited the fiery spirit. End poem.
End poem. This is awesome. And I can relate to a lot of this, as you know.
I know.
But I really like how you use quite a few of the quotes from the original show. I mean, of course, this is part two.
Well, that's what I did for the first show, too, because a lot of them spoke to me.
Yeah. And I also like how you actually mixed in the two songs that we were playing tonight, the opening and the closing song. You mixed in there, too, the Anarchy and the Chasing Cars.
I know. See, that's the thing. For both of my Joker rights for our shows, I listened to the soundtrack profusely when you were at work. You would think that I was crazy because I would sit here while you're gone, listening to it, sometimes for a few hours and just letting it sink in. And then I started writing. Sometimes that's how I work. I have a lot of different methods to how I write. And that's why I don't write so much, because it takes me a while, because it is a process for me. And then when I do write, that's why it comes out the way that it does. And you're like, whoa. So it is an ongoing process for me. It really is.
Well, it shows.
I know. Because I used to just write to just purge my thoughts.
Yeah.
But now when I write, it's on a deeper level. So, yeah, it does come from a deeper place for me. It does have a deeper meaning. So that's why you don't see much from me.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's why I get winded, too, because then when I do, I end up coming out with words that are like 400 to 500 words because I've zipped it for too long. But, yeah, like I said, the Joker does fascinate me. And growing up, I've had a lot of experience of craziness because my mother had her own issues, my sister and my brother. My mother is deceased. My sister's not in my life, and my brother keeps trying to wedge in. And then, it keeps putting it in the forefront of my mind, and it bothers me. And this week it's definitely been in the forefront of my mind because I've been having to deal with him almost on a daily basis. So actually, despite the fact that I'm all chipper, actually on the inside I'm very pissed off and full of rage because of things I can't change and the fact that it's, coming the way that it is.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I'm right here.
I know, it's very discouraging. Because sometimes you just want to say, hey, why can't you take care of yourself? But I realize it's not that easy because it's very discouraging to have to deal with somebody when they're mentally ill and they're not taking care of themselves and they're self-medicating and they're a loose cannon. So it makes it even harder to try to keep the balance from keeping the peace and saying the right thing, but also, trying to not bring that into your household.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know crazy very well. Sometimes I actually am surprised that I came out the way that I did because I feel like I am the normal one in my family. I feel like I was the odd man out. I am the black sheep in a family full of, well, to them, I'm the black sheep. But I feel like I'm a white sheep and full of a family of black sheep. So I don't know how I came out from that household unscathed with everything that I grew up around and saw, but I did. And that's why I am constantly trying to rediscover myself and rebuild myself.
Yeah.
And I refuse to let certain things in. But the great thing about writing is you get to let out the craziness. You get to let out anything you need to purge. And you can do it in a creative way.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's where that came from. Frustration with family, the music, definitely. It helped to set the tone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what it did for me. Oh, the Sapphire Star is on the board, too.
Yeah, she's listening, I believe. Hello, Sapphire Star.
Yeah. Yeah, she said that her sister's first husband was often drinking, and he would get jealous of the friends and hard work and compliments that the sister would get from bosses and coworkers. And one day, instead of a weapon as a gun, he took baseball bat to the sister's classic '67 pickup and dented it and broke out every window. He had a kind moment and then an aggressive the next. Then he committed suicide on daughter's birthday by overdosing. And Sapphire, I have to tell you that's very relatable because my brother took a baseball bat to your car a long time ago. Yeah. And that really pissed me off. That's just a minute example of the things we've had to deal with.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it is very hard when you have to deal with stuff like that. And then there's no clear answer, actually. I feel better and I feel safer when I know he's locked up again in prison. Because then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And it's a very sad thought to say. But with my family, we've gotten to that point because they're loose cannons that are unpredictable and actually not safe to be around.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Sapphire.
Yes, thank
Definitely
you.
very relatable.
Yes.
Do you want to read the gold winner from our contest?
I will weed. I'll weed it.
Are you trying to sound like Madeline Kahn?
I will read our gold winner. It's either Rojas 101 or Roxas 101 is the name, and it's called A Fabricated Facade. We think it's less painful to live our lives. The truth of reality hurts much more. Preferring to hide behind a closed door, but I can see through everyone's disguise. Under her sleeves, more scars than skin. Behind her smile, only bitter tears. No one knows she's been abused for years, dealing with personal devils within. Beneath his calm and collected gaze, anxiety whispers in his ear, "How long can you last in this career? With depression's help, only a few more days." The girl at school's secluded and shy. Her heart is broken. A miracle she's alive. Her dad left her mom, a single mother of 5. Didn't even have the decency to tell them goodbye. Somber eyes concealed behind a mask, wearing the same old tattered costume. Everyone has grown so accustomed, pretending to care, an easier task. Turn a blind eye to all the facts. Ignorance is bliss as we continue faking. We're masquerading on thin ice breaking. waiting to fall right into the cracks. End poem. I thought this was very, very well done. So many of us, do wear masks to hide the pain and sadness deep inside. We do this because family and friends expect us to be smiling and happy. When we're alone, our true selves come out. And I like how, I don't know if it's a he or a she.
I believe it's a woman.
Okay. I believe, I like how she went through different scenarios with each stanza. I can relate pretty good to the third stanza, for sure. But yeah, this is just amazing. Well done. Congrats on the goal.
Yeah, this one it spoke to me a lot because what is spoken is actually part of my past. Because my past was not easy. Actually, the life I was born to, it's not really been easy. It's been filled with a lot of stuff, starting from childhood. And the thing is, when you are around certain things, or certain things happen, they will alter you because it always stays with you. And it does affect the decisions you make. It affects who you become, how you choose to live your life, the people you let in. It really does creep into every facet of your life because as I've gotten older and I've reflected back on that, I can easily see where certain parts of my life, they create certain things within me and the choices that I did make. And as I get older, I've been choosing to be more wise with the decisions I make, with the people I let in. The one problem with that is I found with me that I kind of veered totally on the other spectrum because I used to be very naive and let everybody in, but somehow it's changed where it's very hard for me to let people in. And trust is a big deal, and I am always looking at a lot of different things and questioning everything. And for me, things are just not as simple as they used to be. And it's because, after you get to that point of so much, that it really does alter your life in every respect. Technically, I think in that respect of how I am, it's good because I'm no longer a walking doormat like I used to be, which meant I invited hurt to be put upon my doorstep. Now, with the way I choose to be, I always joke with you at home. But I know you can understand because I always like to joke with you and say that, there's a lot of people that think that I'm just a bitch. And I roll with it with the jokes I make about myself at home. But that's because I stand up to them anymore because I'm tired of a lot. And I think that's actually kind of freeing when you get to that point and you realize enough is enough. And you do have to decide how you want to live your life and the people you let in and what you have to let go of because it's true, as you say, we all do wear a mask. I wear one. You wear one. The only face I feel comfortable showing is a reserved face with moments of silliness and happiness. I don't really like to let anything else in, so that's my mask, is being closed off. But sometimes I think that's a good thing, too, because I feel you shouldn't just let everybody in.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the people you let in, you don't realize it at the time. They're not really meant to be in your life, and they might use what they know about you against you. So, yeah, I do think it's wise to be closed off. The mask that we wear, sometimes we wear it to get through the day because I know for me, without being a certain way, I would be worse off. So, yeah, my mask is one of disconnection. We all are good at wearing masks in one way or another to help us get through the day, to not address what it is that's eating away at us. Because it definitely spoke to me as well. It definitely spoke to my heart. And in the life that I have been forced to live and the life that I choose to live now, it definitely speaks to the quote that she wrote to, this is powerful all around because I definitely feel, on a given day that we all are only laughing on the outside, but the smile is only skin deep because I spend my days laughing a lot and making snarky jokes And the thing is, I do it even when I feel like crap on the inside. And I think it's even more so when I feel like crap on the inside. So, yeah, it's very relatable. Just something that you kind of give yourself. You put that mask on because you think that's what you need to do, what the world needs to see, because people won't understand. So I thought this was an excellent right. So let me see.
Yeah.
Okay. I will go to our next contest winner. And, okay, the next contest winner is our silver winner. And if you want, I will read that one.
Well, yeah, it's your turn.
It's my turn, he says. Okay. I gotta get there.
Just call him Nuno.
Yeah, I do call him, because I am not going to try to pronounce his name. It's very long. It's complicated. Around here in all poetry land, he is known by Nuno, and everybody knows who you're talking about when you say that. So this is by Nuno, and it is called I Am Joker. And the quote that he wrote to, everyone has a reason why they don't trust easily. Do you believe in my smile? But I am this mask you see. You know nothing about me, don't even know me. How hard it is to trust again. Only a child plunged on books, father lost to alcohol, not a dime in the house. Bullied, alone, 0 friends. Working just to have a meal, nobody caring or understanding. Only me and myself. On my worst days, kept building my dreams, brick by brick, day after day, year after year, just to stay sane and alive, surviving. Only one day my dream became real, and the day I finally met my dream, I also lost my life. Everything drowned in darkness. Do you believe my smile? Under my dark armor, still hope for a little match lit, guiding me to live once more. Will you be that match? And
Yeah, Nuno's a good writer.
yes, yeah.
And I thought that this poem was very deep, and it speaks to me too, as you unfortunately well know.
Yeah.
After being hurt too many times, one tends to build an impenetrable wall, always being careful not to let anyone in out of fear of being hurt again. And it takes a lot to, open that wall up to somebody.
It is. Because the problem is, after too much shit, sometimes you build that fortress and it becomes impenetrable and nobody can get in because you just assume automatically that everybody's going to be the same as the next. So why bother?
Yeah.
Well, I know for me, the right definitely did speak to me. The quote that he wrote to, that's actually the one I picked because I picked 6 quotes for the show, and you picked 6.
Mm-hmm.
And that quote spoke to my heart greatly because I used to trust too easily. And as I said before, it made me a doormat. And I've learned to not trust so easily. And everything for me that I do, it does not come very easy, especially with how I see things. And that's because the people that I let in, they made it that way. But the shitty thing is, I say that it's also family too. And it's really crummy when it is family because you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your family. And when it's your family that has done so much damage, and you have to walk away from it, that hurts even more.
Mm.
As I know for me, I've had, I've had a lot of grief, a lot of anger through the years. Because my mother was abusive in her own ways. And when she passed away, she left a lot of unanswered things for me.
No closure.
No closure. So I actually, for years, and I mean years, I grieved for a moment, but then I was stuck in anger for years. And the thing is, too, a lot of it stuck with me where it did build its own trauma. And the shitty thing is, I would dream that some of the stuff that happened that was happening to my children. So it was hard to break my mind free of that for a long time and let go of the anger. And I definitely have let go of the anger finally, but I also am at that point that I can't let it in because then it brings in the past. So I kind of had to let it go as well and leave it in the past. But when he talks about bullied and alone and zero friends, that really speaks to my heart too because growing up, my last name, it was infamous in the town that we lived in. And it was infamous because of the fact that they were well known by the police department. Whether it was my father, my brother, my sister. So it was kind of a guilt by association type thing that if you had that name, you were just deemed as trash and you weren't seen as anything more. So I didn't really have a happy medium when I was a kid. I got bullied at school. Things were crap at home. So that's why by the age of 10, I was already starting to hurt myself because I was severely depressed. There was no good aspect anywhere. So, yeah, and that's the shitty thing. Kids, they don't realize when they bully other kids, they are creating a stigma upon the kids that are being bullied. It stays with them. They carry that through their life. I wish there's a way that children can realize that even their words, it does carry its own action. It does carry its own hurt. That does stay with you.
Yeah.
I wish it's something that they would teach in schools and teach them that it's important to just be nice and to realize that everybody is different and unique and just accept it instead of treating them like crap.
Yeah.
It seems like the bullying in school today is only getting worse with how the kids are. Because when our son was in school, I noticed how bad it was. And it was really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Where he, too, he hated going to school. And that was what finally compelled me to homeschool him because once I did that, he flourished. He was happy. He didn't have anybody coming down on him. So, yeah, I really wish there's a way that kids can understand that their words carries action. But that's very hard to get a child to understand.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's something that really bothers me. I wish they could understand that. I wish they would teach that in school. Because no matter how old you are, words will carry weight.
Yeah.
So I thought this was an excellent right. It definitely speaks to a lot of aspects to life as to the Joker. Well, definitely striking a chord within me.
Yeah, it's like the new saying goes, not the old saying, right? Because the old saying was sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. It's more like sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can cause permanent damage.
They technically can, depending on the type of words that are given.
Yeah.
But the problem is, in this day and age, it's so easy to run a mouth and not realize that what you're saying or doing is going to create a ripple effect that's going to last.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like in certain ways society, it has a long way to go. It really does.
Yeah.
Okay. And thank you, Nuno, for sharing this.
Yes,
And
no,
also thank you for a gold winner, too. And I'm going to move on to our bronze winner, and I am going to have you read.
Okie dokie. It is my turn.
It is.
This is from, I hope I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, John Necapolo. And it's called, Someday Someone Will Break You So Badly That You'll Become Unbreakable. And it goes like this, because the shards of what you have become will cut anyone who tries to break you down further, and that will be the day when you realize it is all just a joke that has been played on everyone from the beginning. So be that midwife to the birth of tragedy that is going to make you just as strong as those who try to kill you, and always put on a happy face, even as you feel like crying. Never letting anyone who would laugh at who you really are get a chance to make you a part of their own pathetic, sick take on life. End poem. And I thought this was well done. I really liked the direction that he took from the quote. A little, if it doesn't kill you, it'll make you stronger. And also, there's an important message that he incorporated in about self-esteem and, not worrying about what others think. And I thought this was an excellent write.
It was. And this was another quote that I selected myself because it is something that resonates within me. When you speak of someday someone will break you so bad that you'll become unbreakable. I finally got to that point. And it took about 10 years ago. And he became my greatest teacher who completely broke me, where I had to refashion myself, I guess. I had to build myself up from the ground and start all over. And the person that I became is the person who is totally different from who used to be, actually.
Much different. Much different.
Hopefully, in certain respects, that's good. I know in certain respects it's bad, because even I know in certain respects it's bad. If I can make jokes about it at home. So I think that's good if you can recognize that. But I thought this was an awesome write, because it is very true when he says, the shards of what you have become, it can cut somebody. Because sometimes, depending on who you become, it can be a harder version of yourself, and it can also come into play as how you treat others. But this one definitely spoke to me greatly, because, when you get to that lowest point, you do have to find a way to move forward, because when you get to that point where you've been so broken, and then you restructure yourself where you become unbreakable, it takes a lot to get there. Because I've always felt that love is a big word, because in order to love, you have to give a part of yourself, while understanding and knowing that sometimes if you give love and trust away to somebody, that they can easily shatter that too.
Yeah.
And that in itself is vulnerability that we're giving to other people, because, with what we give to other people, and if they break it, then we've got to find a way to be okay with it in the end as well, while not letting it totally alter who we become in the end. So yeah, I think there's something great about being indestructible. And I think when you get to that point, it's because you've gotten there, because you've been through a lot. And you finally got to that point where you realize that no matter what anybody will try, you'll come out okay. Because there's actually a quote that I save a lot of quotes on my phone, and this one definitely resonates within me. I haven't shared it, but it says, don't fuck with somebody who's not afraid to be alone, because you will lose every time. I do feel that's true, because I've been through a lot. I've had to walk alone a lot in life, and I've learned how to stand alone, and I'm used to it. I'm comfortable with it. So if anybody thinks that hurts, you don't know what I've been through. Standing alone is actually some days better than dealing with a lot of garbage.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely got to that point because of that final person I let in. So I thought this was an excellent write. And that was our bronze winner, so I thought, very cool, John.
Yes. Thank you very much, John.
Yeah. And since Sapphire Rose is on the board, I'm going to drop hers now.
Okay, no.
And I guess I shall read.
All right.
I feel like I'm prattling on today.
You are.
Oh, you are. Gee, thanks. I'm going to bust your balls later on. You busted my chops, I'll bust them back.
Yeah. And if you're out there, I need a place to stay.
Oh my gosh, I'm kidding. With the snarkiness we throw at each other, it's a good thing we understand one another. Okay. This is by Sapphire Star, and this is called Behind the Mask, The Faces We See. The Joker behind the painted portraits we see, victim of society, yet victimizer of outlandish, maniacal pilgrimages. Tongue twister. Dolor's dread, fears, and deepened cores, phantasms of mind's cryptic diction. Chaotic voices misunderstood, frenzied guise of outcast. Behind masks of altered states, consumed, hidden by torment, thrown out like yesterday's trash. Soulless and grief entwined weeping spirits, an abyss engulfed, lost in caustic absurdity of complexity and rage and outcries, imprisoned in darkness of solitary gloom, draining, dwindling images, carrying away once edifying vitality. found, brittle, guarded, lifeless edifice, wrecking havoc, mind-numbing embitterment, fractured facade, a folly of flaws, silently even ebony shades of madness. When life sees the darkest of chasms, a straitjacket, stronghold, yet willful to cope, within the caverns of terminal malaise, split in pandemonium, like a figment of insignificance, left in the shadows of memories, polarizing between goodness and evil, Joker snickering the breath of life. Within, rekindling smirks, achieving equilibrium, within a dark, cryptic, wry smile. End poem.
Yeah, and I read this one. I didn't read the revised version. I read this one when she first laid it down for us all to read. I thought, and it's still amazing. This is just amazing. Cast out, left for dead, and he broods. You know, so many dark emotions hidden behind his devilish grin, as she said. I like that ending line. Then a dark, cryptic, wry smile. That's just really cool. I think she just took us for a little ride inside the Joker's mind.
I think so.
This is an excellent write. Thank you very much, Sapphire. Awesome.
Yeah. And the funny thing was, she was on the board last night saying she wasn't sure she could do it, and she did this very well.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, because the mind of the Joker is a very complicated one. And, you know, as we've been speaking, that the mind of the Joker could be anybody's mind. Because the Joker, he could have his mental health issues. And it created a division of the mind of how he was with society, how he saw things. And, you know, this definitely speaks of the Joker, but also speaks of society, too. You know, talking about being a victim of society, a victimizer, of outlandish, maniacal antics. Yeah, but this definitely is an excellent write all around because, you know, there's a lot to take in here. A straitjacket stronghold, yet willful to cope within the caverns of turmoil, malaise, split in pandemonium. Yeah, I see that as a division of the mind. And, yeah, just being all over the place because actually reading this, I read it last night, hearing it again. You know, it really does make me think of my brother because it touches on darkness in a realistic way with how I see it, about how one can struggle with the darkness because the Joker, he had a lot going on. And sometimes, you know, it's like we've been talking about tonight, that when people, they have their own struggles of the mind, the torment they carry, the darkness, and they carry it alone and they don't usually let on. And sometimes that can be the saddest thing too. And sometimes they're also doing a disservice to themselves by not trying to reach out to others or trying to get help. Because, you know, there is help out there. But the funny thing is too, I still feel that the help that's needed and should be given to people with mental health issues, they should be more better than what they are. It seems like the only way that would be the case is if you had money and a lot of it in order to get the extreme care that you needed. And that's a great disservice because there's so many of us that do struggle and we don't have the money to take care of ourselves the way that we need to. So, you know, a lot of people do slip through the cracks. And then it just creates bigger problems. You know, where there are moments of, you know, actions being taken out on others, and I like to think that that's not who they truly are. It's just the break of the mind, and it's creating this stuff within them, and it's making them do that. But the problem is, I've also noticed, too, that sometimes when people are struggling, they may not want help either, or sometimes they need help and they can't get help. So this definitely speaks to me in a lot of different ways, because I know for my brother, he doesn't want help, and that's what makes it discouraging.
Mm-hmm.
He would rather self-medicate, so my hands were tied as to how much I can give. But, yeah, it's a strong right.
It is.
It really is. It speaks greatly to the Joker and society itself.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So, yeah, since I know you're listening, thank you, Sapphire. This was amazing, right? I appreciate you sharing this with us. Because as you can tell, it definitely resonated within us, with our experience with certain aspects.
Yep, definitely. Maybe someday, Sapphire, you can actually call in and read your own. You'd be more than welcome if you want to. No obligations.
Yeah, I know. Okay. All right, let me.
We're into the HMs.
Yeah.
We read the first HM
Well,
in part one, right?
Yeah. These were just the ones we did not get to in our first show. Well, I'm going to give you Phil the Poet.
Phil the Poet. Do I have to sing again?
No.
I know.
You did great last night, so you did.
All right. This is from Phil the Poet. He was our third HM.
Let me look. Yeah, 30 HM.
And it's called Manic Laughter. People look at me in a strange way. Manic laughter is all that I know. There's nothing like a good chuckle to hide the insanity inside. I have scrambled soup brains. I play 52-card pickup. I'm a joker in king's clothes, but I'll keep the jester's hat. Jingle, jingle goes my craziness. The noise hides the insanity within. I'm on top of the world, Ma. Shake hands. Bzz. Ha ha ha. Negativity is wrapped inside my happy tears. Side-splitting stories you tell crease me up. Call me crazy, call me strange. It's all the same to me. But I embrace my madness with a smile on my face. With this permanent smile that I have, why not fill the world with laughter? Laugh and the whole world laughs with you. Laugh maniacally and they lock you up. All the heads shake in disappointment, so dull with no sense of humor. Come on and laugh. Did I hear a titter? Oh, why so serious? End poem.
I like the way you read that. I couldn't help but to laugh.
Yeah, this was cool. And yeah, I quoted a little joker to him too in my comment back to him saying, yes, the healing power of laughter. To release, to let out the insanity and or the sanity, possibly even the pain. I thought this is an excellent write. And I like how he wrote it too with those jokes in there with like the hand buzzer and yeah, top of the world, and ending it with the famous why so serious.
Yeah, because that came from my favorite version of the Joker. Because I know everybody has their own Joker that they like. For me, I will always feel, unless somebody does it differently, that Heath Ledger was the best. Because he definitely embodied a lot of what you were reading from what Phil wrote. The Why So Serious, that was definitely from the Heath Ledger version. And that was a sound clip that we opened up with tonight after the music. But yeah, it's true that when people look at you in a strange way, manic laughter being all that one person knows, there's nothing like a good chuckle to hide the insanity inside. Yeah, that would be true because the Joker himself, he definitely laughed a lot, and it was definitely maniacal. And then he would be spewing a lot of things that most people would view as not right.
Mm.
But the thing is, with the Heath Ledger version, I did notice that while others saw him as insane, the things that he was saying actually made sense. They didn't sound like, to me, they were coming from the mind of a crazy person. It was coming from the mind of a person who saw reality for what it really was with what he was saying. And it is really true. Because some people can see reality for what it is and not sugarcoat it. And that's what his character did. And I like that Phil touched on that greatly. Because a lot of different versions of the Joker, stop it. Stop. They did bring their own elements where they mostly focused on how crazy, insane he was. But yeah, this one was more of reality because, reality is very flawed. It's very cracked. And if you could see reality for what it very much is, I think that makes you more of an intelligent, wiser person, because there was a quote that I came by a long time ago. I think, I'm so about quotes. It's terrible. I'm sorry. But I think it was one by Keanu Reeves I came across on Facebook a while ago. It says, I'm not suffering from depression, I'm suffering from reality. And that would pertain to the Joker, because I definitely, in my own way, suffer with reality. Because that's also why I prefer solitude a lot, because it's very difficult to immerse yourself around people all the time. If you see the reality, and if you look at certain things, and all of a sudden you see the truth behind it, and it's just, reality is a bitch. So yeah, I can easily say that, it's very hard to live with reality. And yeah, the Joker, he definitely, that's why the quotes I picked were mostly from The Dark Knight, because a lot of what he said in that film, it was very profound, but also very true if one would stop and think. Because even though he was crazy, he did have a lot of truth that he was speaking in between.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
A very intelligent Joker.
Yeah, and I think that's why a lot of people relate to that one, actually, because there's a lot of people that I know that they definitely say that was the best one, because, yeah. And sometimes intelligence, especially on that level, it can be intimidating. It can be seen as insane. But the funny thing is, if it seems that way to certain people, maybe it's because they're afraid to face reality. And he was not afraid to face reality. And he was trying to get you to face it, putting it out there in your face.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think that's a good thing, to face reality instead of being blind to it. So this was an awesome, right, Phil? And I love the way that you read it. I couldn't help but to snicker in between because the personification you gave to it at times. Heard a little Jack Nicholson in there. But then I also heard a little bit of Heath Ledger in there. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool how you read it.
Well, thank you. Clear verbal.
Yeah, now you're drawing on Elvis. Smart Alec. So, yeah. Okay. I will go to our second HM winner. And that one I will read because it was written by a woman.
And it's your turn.
It's my turn. Well, last night we were not taking turns properly.
Yeah, but it was still fun.
Yeah. I know. Okay, and this was our second HM winner. This is by Julie Buck. If I can get to the damn room, my phone's acting up. Okay, this is by Julie Buck. And she wrote to the quote, sometimes even the devil on my shoulder asks, what the fuck are you doing?
That was one that I chose.
Yeah, I know. And it is called, I Don't Need God. I don't need God or famine or the plague to punish me. Hurting my own self is my strongest skill. Why? Why? Sometimes things I truly love, I kill. No, my thoughts don't race, and my moods don't swing. I simply live my way, and it seems to go against the grain of the same. By far, I'm not crazy, perhaps a bit mental. Mostly my actions low, come out unplanned. My outlandish behavior happens, accidental. I don't need the Bible or poverty or disease to punish me. Drawing my own blood is my mightiest knack. And always, I am the first to abhor my ways with a stack of questions. Once I heard the devil ask, God damn it, woman, what is your deal? I shrugged my apathetic shoulders and said, see, because I don't feel the way others do. I do what I do because wicked dominates. I rush to shoot it down before it berates me. Now hush, and just know I love danger, and I will always take candy from any fucking stranger. And
Yeah, I thought this was amazing. In a lot of ways, some of us are our own worst enemies.
yeah.
And, I used to live the way that she described so many things in my past that probably should have killed me. Sane, insane, or maybe both. But
You were crazy insane in your youth.
crazy, insane.
Yeah.
Crazy, insane. But, yeah, I thought she captured all these emotions in her words, and I thought this was an excellent write. Julie Buck is an excellent writer.
She is. Her writes, they carry a lot of enthusiasm to it, a lot of passion as well, when trying to get her point across. And I liked this write all around because, yeah, what you were saying. In your youth, you were definitely very crazy. You were very reckless. You were careless. You were stupid. You did a lot of things that could have gotten you in trouble, could have gotten you killed. But somehow you're still here. So technically, you had somebody looking out for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing I think that we take advantage of in our youth. We do take it for granted. We have that mindset, that mentality that I can do whatever the hell I want. I'll be okay. Nothing's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that's true. That is true, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes we don't have luck on our side. We don't have that angel on our shoulder that's going to guide us and keep us safe. But yeah, the right, it definitely speaks, I think, for everybody because I know that in my past, hurting my own self was my strongest skill. We all have moments of doing that, and sometimes when we do that, it's because we're afraid to let people in. So sometimes we push them away in certain ways to guard our heart, protect ourselves, so that way we don't get hurt again. Because it's just easier to push people away. So yeah, this is definitely an excellent write. I love the way that she read it. Not the way she read it. The way you read it, I read it. Excuse me. What the hell's wrong with me? I love the way she wrote it because it definitely is very passionate with getting the point across about the quote, talking about going against the grain of fame. You know, it's very true because a lot of us, we do march to our own beat. And it's not a bad thing to march to the tune of your own beat because it means that you know who you are, you know what you want, you know what you will accept and what you won't accept, and you're going to do it your own way. And if it means you step on toes, if it means you hurt people, sometimes that's probably going to happen. But if it's how you want to go about it and you want to do it, then, you know, it is what it is. We all definitely live our lives to our own degree.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully as we get older, we get wiser and, you know, well, we march to our own beat. We let people in and we don't, you know, try to sabotage and hurt ourselves further because that's actually a great disservice we can do to ourselves as well. Because if we push people away, you know, we hurt ourselves more so because we don't realize that in the long run, while we think we're protecting ourselves, we're actually hurting ourselves more so.
Yeah.
That's hard to see that because of the mindset that, you know, one has adopted. It seems easier and safer. But the better question being, is it? So yeah, that is pretty great, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see here. Okay. This is from the contest as well, and this one is all you, buddy. It's your turn to read.
All right. This is the fourth HM?
Well, this contest, remember?
Oh, right. It had honorable HMs.
Yeah, extra HMs. This was one of the extra HMs because in the contest with extra HMs, you sent extra points out to people as well.
And this one is by Pedro Diaz. And hopefully I can read this right because he did put some Spanish in this.
Oh.
And this is called Madness of the Insane. The quote that he wrote to is, "I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to hurt you really bad." Really, really bad, sorry. Loco is mi nombre. Madness turned insane. Death devours spirit. Beating pulse rises in flames. Won't kill you yet. I'll only hurt your flesh very badly. Gape the eyes and ogle the running red. Delightful to mutilate without extinguishing the sigh. I'm unbreakable. Pain created me. This carving smile enlarges with pain. Suffering is the medicine. Injections measured in weeps. Sweet morphine flowing in. You won't die. I'm not done yet. Torture is running. Kneeled before you. The wicked hopped on his shoulders. Will revive you 1,000 times until all the torture is no more. Soy son mi río de la muerte. Hope I said that right.
Yeah.
And that means I am the Joker and I laugh at death. End poem. I thought this was powerful. It made me think of some people that I know that just seem to like to, poke and prod you but never lower the boom. They're always giving you little jabs here and there and torturing you in a way. That's what it made me think of. But I thought, yeah, this was definitely really cool.
Yeah, this was one that you had picked out.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, I'm brain farting on the name of the movie, but this was Jared Leto who played the Joker. Suicide Squad?
Yes, Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I have to agree with what you said with the rights. Sometimes, as we've spoken before, sometimes words can be their own death too. With how they are inflicted upon somebody, how they make one feel. Mm-hmm. And, death can take on so many levels, because with what you said, sometimes a person, they could poke and prod in so many different ways. And, sometimes that's just their nature. That's all they know. That's all they learned. That's something that they decided to become. And the problem is when you deal with that, it gets very discouraging. It's hard to deal with. You don't want to deal with it because, I speak from experience. People that have been in my life that all they want to do is poke and prod. And, I'm the kind of person that I finally got to that point in my life where I'm like, okay, it's time to move on. Let it go. This is something that, I say to you as well. Because there are some people, like family, where they constantly like to stir the pot. But the thing is, they keep the pot on the stove top and they let it cool down. And they come back to it at a later time just to stir it a little bit more. And they don't ever let you, eat the meal so you can digest it and let it work on going away. There's nothing to be gained by constantly stirring. That's what, my point that I was getting across of what I was saying to you. But, it does go with the fact that for some people, that's all they know is to stir little by little, throw jabs, throw pokes, At the end of the day, what does it really get you? It really doesn't get you anywhere.
No.
So maybe it is time to move on. The rite itself, it took on a very graphic, torturous life with the words and the imagery that he painted. But I definitely see what you see as well, because, when he talks about at the end, you won't die, I'm not done yet. The torture is running. Yeah. Sometimes in certain ways, people, they do get pleasure from it. They like to see the reaction that it gets. So that's why they keep running. And, the greatest thing when faced with something like that, the best gift you can ever give yourself is to not give in. Because I learned that a long time ago. And our counselor, he gives very sage advice, because I've heard him say many times, you cannot control the actions of others, but you can control how you handle a situation. So if you deal with something where, you're in that situation, you can either roll with it and go tit for tat, or you can just be the better person and just let it roll off. And eventually, that person will get tired of it because it's kind of old. It's like beating a dead horse, It's one-sided, and it's like, where's fun?
Right.
And I've had to apply that to my life a lot of the time. And I'm still applying it to my life to this day, today. Because my family, they're definitely a tit-for-tat type of folk.
Yes, they are.
So, while I got rage going on the inside, it's better to just let it go.
Yeah.
And then to prattle on to you about it instead. Because you understand where I'm coming from. But yeah, it's also freeing to yourself too if you don't give in. Yeah. It really is. Because you don't realize in the long run, if you do go tit for tat, it's just gonna It's just going to cause more chaos within. It's just going to cause more hurt. And what's the point of that?
Right.
So yeah, that's when you gotta decide that it's time to just let it go. And eventually, like I said, it does get old with some. They'll eventually see that. So yeah, it's very freeing to yourself. The best gift you can give to yourself is to just walk away. Okay.
And we're about to read the last one from the contest.
Yeah.
Another extra HM.
Yeah, and I feel good about that because the fact that this was the first time that we had to close the show where we had a lot of rollovers. So it was important to me tonight to get this show going so that way we could accommodate everybody who took the time to write for the contest. And I will read this one. I'm going to get there. Okay. This is from our contest. It's the Extra HM. It is by
Aloes Wood.
Yeah. It is called In Some Wisdom's Wind. Okay. Here I go. There's that, then this, and all the rest, as if what happens is not happenstance. What comes about, by no means known, but there, like stones, disturbing streams, the eight of us, out back, enraptured, skies fractured, by night's rape and growth, as if we matter each of us in what we've seen, felt and fashioned from those shards we laugh, hug unexpectedly, cry randomly, like promise and fulfillment, frightful dream, and dawn, the truth of beer, the truth of being what nobody wants, what nobody knows, we make it up along the way. Tonight we're free, no one remembers who they were before. The sky is filled with fallen gems, the air with silence like the earth, crazed of the roots of everything. No one remembers who they were before becoming what they are around this table. Here, this grand demure before sun, no one, not thistle, some wisdom's wind. End poem. And the quote used sometimes is that it's better to sit silently and not speak to anyone.
Yeah.
And that was one of the quotes that I chose.
Yes, and I thought this was also very powerful. It is also very possible to forget who you were, where you came from. I've seen it, and it's usually in a negative way. The times I've seen it, like somebody who made their way up through the ranks where I work, and then they forget all the hard work that they had to do to get where they are, and suddenly they become full of themselves.
And become assholes.
Yeah, basically they become an asshole. Yes, and don't realize that you are doing the work that they used to do and how difficult that work was. Because now, they just walk around and tell you what to do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's all they do. I know that there's a lot of stuff they have to do being a manager, because I've been a manager myself before, so I know that there's a lot entailed into it, and you do have to keep order. But to use that A word again, you don't have to be an asshole about it. Yeah, but this is a great write, and that's how it spoke to me.
I think sometimes, though, it's very hard to not be an ass. Because sometimes when that comes to play too.
Yeah, I've known a few arrogant ones too.
Yeah, where the head gets so filled because, I've always said to you that sometimes it seems like in order to be a boss, you've got to be an idiot. Because some of the ones in the past that you've had to deal with, I question as to how they got to the position that they were, because some of the coworkers could do the job better than the boss themselves. And if anything, the coworkers were doing a lot of the work that the boss should have been doing, but for some reason they were throwing it on the other people and sitting on their thumbs, and then, berating and treating them like crap, like, you're an idiot, you did it wrong, you don't know what you're doing, but hey, I don't know what I'm doing either, but I'm still going to use you as a scapegoat.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so that's a special kind of arrogance and assholishness, I think. I like the write itself because, the lines that did stand out for me No one remembers who they were before becoming what they are around this table, here this grand demure before a sun. No one, not Thistle. It's very true because I would have to agree with you that sometimes in life, we all start at the bottom, and when it comes to work, and sometimes in certain aspects of life, we all are growing, we're all changing, and that's part of life. Nothing's meant to stay the same, but sometimes in life you forget who you were, and who you become is something different from who you once were, and that could come to play with friendships, work, family, where you forget, certain things from the past, forget who you were, and who you become sometimes is something different that's not very kind.
Sometimes.
Yeah. But like I said, arrogance comes to play with them, I think.
Yeah.
Because, I've definitely seen that a lot of the time, too, where, you have that mindset, you think, well, I got this, and I want that, and I could do this, and I can get away with that, and it's okay if I talk to this person that way, but don't talk to me that way.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah. I find myself saying that phrase a lot, do as I say, not as I do, because that's a contradiction. It's hypocritical, all those different things where, the mindset is, I can do what I want, but you can't. So who the hell are you to question me? So, this right definitely speaks, to the quote itself very well. And it's also very relatable to life itself because we definitely have touched on that, and I think everybody has. And, it's very frustrating because sometimes, when you have to deal with that, it depends on the person you're dealing with. You just have to just smile, walk away, say, okay, whatever. Because what else are you going to do? There's not much you can do. Because sometimes, this also reminds me of another quote that I go to often in my mind. Sometimes you have to play the fool who thinks they're fooling you.
Yeah.
So that one goes through my mind a lot. Just because I'm silent doesn't mean I'm an idiot. I just choose to be silent because I know that it's wiser.
Yeah.
So I definitely carry that through my life. Another great trait.
Mm-hmm.
And this next one, I'm going to let you read.
I will read for my big brother Joseph Moon.
Yes.
And I'm honored to read.
Yes.
For Sky's White Whale. This is from Joseph Moon, and it's called Death on the Windowsill. This one's really dark.
Okay.
Third moon now. The wind and rain are raging late. And every creature walking claws at my gate. Stand on the windowsill and whisper death's name. The dark muse to me through the red flame came. My being, their twin flames race, pierce, penetrate. The human darkness each minute of my mortal fate. Stretched in deathless love from sphere to shore, my heart will echo till she beat no more. Fear feeds the imagination and makes men weep. For some must die while some must sleep. I am the story that poets dare not tell. I see angels scream in heaven, wishing for hell. As I sit on the sill and recite my rhyme, serenity my spirit seeks many a time. I wind in the wax, weep on my pillow, wondering how long can this continue. I unlock the window and poem.
Well, before you leave a comment, say hello to Joseph on the board.
Hello, Joseph. You got here just in time. Did you hear us?
I think so. He said he got here just in time. I told him it is good timing indeed. Hello, Joseph.
I hope you heard. But yeah, I thought this was a very dark poem. Made me think of a few different things. Open the window and let death in. Don't fear the reaper. Tear off the mortal coils. Life can be torture at times, but I personally believe. Okay, good. You can hear me. I personally believe that there's a plan for us all. It isn't up to us. When death wishes to enter, he will open the window himself.
Yeah.
I thought this is exactly right.
Yeah, I think so too because I definitely had my own thoughts on it. I like when he talks about fear feeds the imagination and makes men weep. Um, for some must die while some must sleep. I am a story that poets dare not tell. I see angels scream in heaven wishing for hell.
Mm.
You know, that stanza, it does speak uh, very well to me because fear, it does feed the imagination. And when you let fear feed the imagination, it can let you believe certain things, see things that are not very true. It can take you to dark places. So if you feed the fear, it will just ignite it even worse. Because a lot of the times the fear that we roll with, it can create a lot of unkind, untrue thoughts. But I like the closing stanza too, because I do see how it speaks to the inner torment of one, and how one could go wandering and with being lost. And when he talked about opening the window to let the spirits in, and in the pain, you know, I definitely, I definitely saw the depth there. Because Joseph, in his comment, he said that some unlock the window and sadly take the plunge.
Mm.
I've seen death from a lot of different aspects. I've had my childhood friend, he committed suicide, and the anniversary of his death was actually just last week. It was 4 years ago he committed suicide. And then there's others that, were taken by illness. And, my friend, he definitely rolled with the fear and the darkness that he had in his life because he was always on his own track to collision. He always was on a one-way ticket to hell. He was always trying to find different ways to kill himself by being an alcoholic, being destructive, until he finally decided it was time to just take his life. So, yeah, it's a very dark right about death, feed into fear, and how it can make a person react. But as you know, Joseph, I always tell you, your writing is brilliant. It's very inspiring. It speaks on so many different levels. It's always a pleasure to have you share for our show.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and on the board you said death is not prejudice, and you said equal opportunity. This is true.
Yeah, death is an equal opportunity employer.
It is. It's going to come. You just don't know. But, for some who decide to take their life, they're the ones playing God because I feel that they had more life to live, but they thought that their life was done.
Yeah.
So I always feel one should not play God because how are you to know?
True.
So, yeah. Okay.
How are we doing?
Well, I'm going to grab yours.
Oh, and you're going to read it?
I'm going to read yours.
No, I'm just kidding.
Smart Alex.
I am what I am.
I know. You're being a smart Alex tonight. Busting my chops.
You bust them right back. You know it.
No, don't bust them with.
All right. I wrote this one to the quote that everyone has a reason why they don't trust easily. And I titled it, Your Love is a Battering Ram That Tore Down My Walls. And it goes like this. Cut too many times, shot with Cupid's crooked arrow that went through my vascular organ, turned and headed for my brain, nicking ribs and spine along the way, leaving bone fragments floating in my pneuma. More times than I can count. Used like a stick and rubbed against another furiously until the friction caused me to burst into flames. My so-called best friends built a wall and 4 more around that one, impenetrable, until you. End poem.
Well, whoever this girl is, she might be pretty special.
Yeah, I don't know who that would be.
I don't know. Oh my gosh, yeah, I know. I know that this kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier about how trust can easily be broken. Once it's broken, it's hard to get back. But also the fact that it's hard to let people in too. But when we get to that point, we do a great disservice to us too when we don't let people in because we end up hurting people that we don't mean to. And the thing is, you were not easy for a long time.
Yeah.
And you did have your walls, and you pushed me away a lot. And it made it very difficult. Because, you know, you're going to be 50 in July. And I've known you for 22 years.
I'm not going to be 50.
Okay. And how come you have a 22-year-old son?
I had him when I was 3.
Whatever. What?
I was an early starter.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
You were an early starter in certain ways. But, you know, you're right, it's true. Because even though you had me, you were not easy. You always pushed me away for the longest time. And it caused a lot of unnecessary hurt. And that just goes with what I'm saying, that sometimes when you do that, you do end up hurting the ones you love. And I know that at times you don't really need to. You just can't help it. You don't know how to get past the barriers that are holding you back. But that's something that one has to learn to let go of, too, or else you're going to end up being alone because you pushed everybody away, and then what do you have?
Yeah, I know. Joseph said, talking about my age, he says he has ties older than me.
Well, you know, soon enough you'll get to hear a lot of my dad's classic quotes.
Yeah.
Older than dirt.
Yeah.
Well past my expiration date.
I'm not past my expiration date.
No, I know. But my dad, for his birthday, he gets very melancholy for his birthday. He starts saying all the time, I'm past my expiration date.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to say.
I just go, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah, my daddy gets moody around his birthdays about getting older. He just turned 72, so he definitely gets in that funk a lot of the time.
Yeah. Yeah. If I was milk on the shelf of the store, they'd throw me out
Yeah,
past my expiration date.
past your expiration date. This is very true. But, you know, a sapphire star set on the board, age is but a number in the timeline of life, and that's very true.
True.
It's all about how you live the life that's given to you.
So I'm only like 5 years old in my brain.
In your brain, yeah. At this point in life, yeah, you're a man-child.
I am a man-child.
But I'm also a child in my own ways of how I behave at home, too. So I guess we balance each other out.
Yeah.
So it works out good.
It do.
It all ties in with the fact that we like to laugh and be smart aleck. And because we share the same wavelength, it helps.
It does.
Because we throw things at each other a lot. So
not physical things.
Yeah.
Except for that one day when I came home late from work and she threw the toaster at me.
Yeah, whatever. You're such a liar. Such a liar. Smart ass.
Joseph said you should do a show on your dad's quotes.
We should. Because I have heard a lot through the years. He throws a lot of his quotes when his birthday is around because, like I said, he gets very melancholy.
Could be a future Poetic Inklings.
Yeah, how about that? Dedicate that to my dad.
Yeah.
You might like that, hopefully. I hope.
I might be best just to not let him know what's happening.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, why don't you say the one quote that James got a kick out of when he was younger?
Want some cheese with that wine?
Yeah. He loves to say that. You want the cheese with that wine?
Yeah. Cheese with that wine.
Yeah. The funny thing is, that backfired on him when James was a child, because James, being a smart aleck just like us, he threw it right back at my dad.
Yeah.
Then we had to tell James, knock it off.
4 times over.
Yeah, I know.
Your dad said, "You want some cheese with that wine?" And James says, "Cheese with that wine, cheese with that wine, cheese with that wine."
My dad got quiet after that. Because I could tell James was being a smart aleck. Oh, God. Oh, and what Joseph said on the board.
Uh-huh.
Throw the toaster. Rough food porn sex. I don't know.
Electricity.
Electricity, that's good.
Yes, yes. He's taking the knife out of the cheese. You think he wants some cheese?
Yeah. Good movie. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah. Yeah, Sapphire Star on the board said when her son turned a quarter century, he had a burger place called Smash Burger and put 25 candles in his burger.
Oh,
That's
cool.
cute.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Sounds like my kind of birthday cake. Only I think I would like maybe like a rib steak. I like rib steaks. You'd have to figure out a way to put candles in a steak, though.
Yeah, I know.
No, you know what?
steak.
Scratch that. I don't want candle wax all over my steak. Just mushrooms and onions, please.
Yeah, I know. But you being you try to find an excuse to have steak at any time, so,
It's delicious.
you know. I don't cook breakfast, but you like to throw it in there. I'll have some steak and eggs.
Mm.
And then I tell you, okay, well, if you're going to cook it,
I haven't had steak and eggs in forever.
you know.
There's steak in the freezer.
Yeah, I know, but come on. It's just you and me. Why make the effort if you don't need to? Oh, yeah, right. You're not a morning person to begin with, so getting up earlier just to do that.
I've been getting up earlier all the time to cook breakfast for us. I just have to get up about 10 minutes earlier because it only takes about 10 minutes to broil a steak to medium.
Yeah, I know, but still. You're not a morning person, and we get to bed very late, too.
Yeah.
So it's complicated.
It's odd. I'm not a morning person, but yet breakfast is my favorite meal of the day. I love bacon and eggs and hash browns and toast.
I know.
How do we always get on food?
I don't know. I think it's very easy, too.
I like the strawberry shortcake. That's good stuff, Joseph.
I like strawberry shortcake, too. It's yeah. Yeah, there are a few times this summer. So, okay. Yeah, okay. We just have one more.
All right. Excellent.
Yeah, and it's mine.
Oh, let's hear it.
Yeah. You know, Joseph, you're right. Breakfast is great any time of the day. A lot of times I've gone out to eat, I've gotten breakfast instead of dinner.
You've had pancakes and sausage for dinner before.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Anytime.
Anytime. Okay, this is the last one of the night, and then we are going to go into announcements. This is one that I wrote a while ago, so I figured I wanted to close the show with this one tonight. Because when I look back at my rights, I have like 5 rights pertaining to the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
So I was surprised at how often I wrote about him in my time of being here. I call this Beholder. Rape of the soul in the pale moonlight, violation of inner light burns bright. Despite the darkness of midnight cloaked lies, ashes amongst the ruins lie at my feet, blowing gently in the wind in soundless wisp, not knowing the destruction it holds. It goes quietly into the good night on the wings of despair. Solo flights of insightfulness leads to answers. And solitary confinements of the mind, sleeping visions of awakenings, ignite the rage and light and hazy embers upon the arrival of consciousness. End poem.
End poem. And I thought this was wow. Yeah, and I know that there's some layers to this.
There's always layers.
Always layers, I know. But yeah, I like how you mentioned the pale moonlight because that brings some of the quotes into it. But they're very deep, very layered. I'm not sure what else to say right now.
That's okay. most of my rights to begin with, when I do write, it comes from a place within, and it's just something a lot of times I need to write about to get off of my chest, because there's a lot that I carry on the inside, and I don't like to verbalize it. So instead, it comes into my writing at times, which is, for me, its own purge of release that helps to make me feel better. But yeah, this one I wrote a while ago, and I was struggling with certain things at that time. But yeah, I don't know what more to say about that one.
That's fine. Just I'll read what Joseph said on the board. It said, hearing you read this ink simply takes the words to and meaning to another level. Outstanding.
Thank you, Joseph.
And Sapphire Star says that she can relate to the messages within the lines.
Yeah. It's very true what Joseph said. There's strength in wisdom and solitude. I go to solitude quite often. I visit it basically on a daily basis. But the thing is, too, if you can enjoy your company, the insightfulness that you get, well, just reflecting about a lot of different things, it really can give you great wisdom. It can make you see things clear. And if you are able to do that, I think that it helps you to become a wiser person. It opens the doors of insight to what is around you. It helps you to understand better, because if you can't do that, then you're going to be walking around in life being, half smart, I think. If you can understand the bigger picture of things in life, understand the bigger picture of people and the reality of things, I think that helps you along the way.
Yeah.
So I think it's very good to be able to have the wisdom and insight to see things on a deeper level.
Yeah.
Because it spares you, too, from becoming technically somebody that's unkind by just seeing things at face value and not looking at, the deeper meaning. I know, for some people it's very hard to do that, too. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Time to make announcements?
Yes, it is. Sharon just got here, and it's almost over. Do you want to do acknowledgments first, or do you want to talk about upcoming shows first? Which do you want to do?
Well, I will say my acknowledgments, and you tackle the chat for it. Real quick. Okay. I'm coming. Okay. I want to say the contest that we ran for tonight's show, we had to extend it into 2 parts because we had so many rights for the contest and people who wrote in general. So I want to say thank you to Rojas 101, Nuno, John Nakapala, Julie Buck, Philip Poet, Pedro Diaz, Aloeswood, Sapphire Rose, who's on the board, J.E.G., who's on the board earlier, Joseph Moon, who's on the board, and Raz, who has been on the board as well.
And Sharon, who just stopped in.
And Sharon, who just stopped in. And, of course, you read and I read. So, yeah, we had 14 rights for tonight. We got them all done.
Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you to everybody who did participate for tonight, who called in or dropped for the show or were part of the contest. Thank you. And just a reminder that with our shows, we always run contests. So always keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, look up in the topic board. We usually put the contest link in there.
Yeah, because
next Tuesday needs some rights.
Well, yeah, because with our shows coming up, we have contests going. And then tonight we're going to do contests for Thursday and Saturday's show. Because right now you have a contest going for Tuesday and Wednesday's show.
Yes.
Now I'll stop and let you take that.
All right. Our next show is tomorrow night at 7 p.m. It's focused on the 2 classic holiday movies, Holiday Inn and White Christmas, both starring Bing Crosby, one with Danny Kaye, the other with Fred Astaire. We did have a contest for that. That closed down and was judged earlier today, so we have plenty of rights. We're going to play some clips from the movies as well, which mainly are songs because that's all I could find. Next Tuesday is our Mortuary of Shadows. I almost couldn't say that. This one is going to focus on 8 legendary monsters of Christmas. I stumbled on this page, and I felt like a kid in a candy store when I found this. I feel like a child at Christmas because these things are so interesting. Everybody knows Krampus. If you're bad, Krampus comes. He takes away your family. He can take you away. He's not a nice guy. But I'll tell you what, some of these others make him look like a nice guy. Hopefully I can pronounce this right. The Yule Cat, his name is, I'm going to try this, Yolako Turin. I believe that's it. I think I said it right. This cat belongs to somebody I'm going to mention later on. He knows if you were good or bad, because if you were bad, you didn't get new clothes for Christmas. So if he sees you in old clothes on Christmas, he'll eat you. That's your punishment. You get crapped out of a cat's butthole. Frau Perta. She is a German and Austrian this legend. She is just nuts. I already wrote to her, actually, because she is just so intriguing to me. If you're bad, on Christmas Eve, she'll come into your house, she'll cut open your belly, pull all your internal organs out, and replace them with garbage. How about that?
What a nice gal.
Yeah, what a nice gal. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Don't be bad. A lot of people already know who Bell Snickle is. He's kind of mild. All he does is spank you if you're bad, and he gives you candy if you're good. However, I guess if you try to get the candy too quickly, he will give you a little whoosh on the hand. So don't be too quick at grabbing the candy. A lot of kids were said to wait till he leaves the room and then get their candy. Hans Trapp, another guy. If you're bad, he will leave a pile of twigs at the foot of your bed. And when you wake up on Christmas morning, if you see that pile of twigs, then you know he's going to come back for you, so he can do what? Guess what he can do? Guess what he'll do to you?
What will he do?
He'll eat you. So yet another trip through the intestines because you were bad. And here comes another guy who will eat you. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly or not. Pierre Fautard, which translates to Father Whipper. He was an evil butcher who loved to eat children. And there's some interesting things. So yeah, another guy who will eat you if you're bad. And Kay and I watched this video of the country. What country is he from? Let's see here. Well, it's France. Okay. They were making fun of him, having fun with this thing. They had this table where the kids were all laughing and giggling because they knew it was just a game, but their heads were in these two holes on the table, and Father Whipper was pushing their heads down, and at the other end of the table was a meat grinder, and you could see hamburger just pouring out of it. So he's grinding up the kids, and everybody's having a good time with that. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
The Yule Lads, partial owners of the Yule Cat. There's 13 of these guys, and each of them have a nice little thing that they like to do. They like to steal your food, steal your toys, come in and just lick your silverware. Just a lot of prankster to them. But there's one of them whose job it is to watch for bad kids. And when he sees bad kids, he goes back to his mother, who is the next monster, Grelia. And he tells her about you. And then she sends the Yule Lads out to get you, get back, and guess what she does to you?
Tell me.
She eats you. How about that?
Crazy.
So these they like to scare the hell out of their kids years ago for Christmas in those European countries. But I mean, these are very intriguing. I think, at least I do. Maybe I'm just crazy. But we've got a couple rights for the contest right now, and they're both really cool. I suggest at least maybe go over there and give them a read. Maybe it'll give you a little inspiration as well.
Did you see what Raz said on the board?
What do you say?
He said Nick Nolte would eat you too, but not just on Christmas night.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is.
And anyway, that's for Tuesday's show. Wednesday we are doing J.K. Rowling quotes from Harry Potter. That contest is filling up quickly. I think there's only a few slots left. So if you want to write in that one, you better go over there and put a reserve in. But the quotes are very deep, and we're getting a lot of compliments for the quotes that we chose.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe check that one out. That's going to be a fun night for the Poetic Inklings of tomorrow. And next Thursday, for the Movement of Sound, we are going to feature songs from Rankin Bass specials, the old Christmas specials, the old Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, and Santa Claus is Coming Down, those old claymation ones that most of us used to love so well.
Yeah, they're the cartoons of my childhood.
Yeah. But we won't be focusing on the songs that were already well known, like the names of the show, Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Yeah. We're going to go with the songs that were written specifically for the show. Things like in Rudolph, there was Silver and Gold, I Am Not Just a Misfit, The Island of Misfit Toys, that kind of thing. We're going to write to those. Hopefully we don't find it too difficult. Or you can just write to the special itself. You know, what you thought of it, what it made you feel, or maybe even write a new version of it. However you want to play it, that's cool. And then next Saturday is our once-a-month show,
Synergy of Love.
Synergy of Love, yes. And the theme for that one will be Romance Under the Mistletoe.
Yes.
So we can have some fun.
Yeah. And contest for Thursday and next Saturday show, we will be getting up tonight.
Tonight, yep. She's cracking up.
I am cracking the whip.
She's making me spend my points, too.
Oh, shut up. I send you points all the time.
She's got 3 times as much points as I do.
I always send you. You're a smart ass. You realize last week I sent you 70,000 alone for contests, so shut it. You're a smart ass.
I am.
You are.
I am what I am.
I know.
Popeye the Sailor. All right, so.
Yes.
Yes, Sky.
Just popped in. Sky.
Is she on the phone line?
Let me see. No. Well, I will type on the board.
Yeah, we're wrapping it up, just like the delicious dish.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's got time to call in if she wants to. We can hang on for one.
Yeah, I'm telling her.
Call in.
Share something on the board.
Call in. Tell her call in. She can read one. It's all cool.
Yeah. Yeah, because we got through all the rights for tonight, so I'm pleased about that because I was kind of agitated because we had our show Tuesday, but we had to reschedule it. So it was important to get it done this week, and I'm glad that we finally reciprocated everybody from the contest because we had a lot of great rights from our contest for the Joker. So I did want to get that reciprocated finally. So I feel great now that we got that done. So yeah.
I'm telling her, if she has a Joker poem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm saying you do have a Joker poem, don't you, Scott?
I'm sure she does. The poor girl, she's been working a lot lately, so her time's been limited.
Yeah, I know. She works a lot of hours.
She does, yeah.
And I give her a big grin.
Yeah, a toothy grin. But yeah. Well,
excuse me.
If you want, I can hold out a little bit and hurry grab a Joker, right, to see if she calls in. You want me to do that?
Sure, why not?
Well then, talk to everybody. I gotta hurry.
She has to tell me to talk to you. Talk.
Talk.
Going to talk. I'm going to talk. That was from The Untouchables.
Yeah? What, the one that you like? From the 80s?
Yeah, the one with Kevin Costner, Zillion Ness, and
Yeah.
Robert De Niro.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, you quote a lot of different lines from that one.
Yeah. There's a lot of good lines from that movie.
I know. What's the one that you always talk about the house?
The house. I'm trying to think now. Oh, you're talking about I want to burn down. I want his house burnt to the ground. I want him dead. I want his family dead. I want his house burnt to the ground. I want to go there in the middle of the night and piss on his ashes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of quotes that you do quote at home quite often, actually.
I don't know if that's my favorite one, though.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think my favorite is when Sean Connery's chasing one of the bad guys across the field and he gets tired of running, so he shoots his machine gun into the air so the guy stops. He says, enough of this running shit.
Yeah, I know. And the funny thing is, I've never seen the movie in all my time of being with you.
You should watch it. It's really good.
I know.
You looking?
I'm looking, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if Sky's calling, though.
She probably is not.
Yeah.
Because she's a very busy gal. I only extend the show to 9:30 to give me time, so that way anybody who's on the board listening, it doesn't cut them out. Because if you slate the show for 2 hours, the studio, it still lets you stay in the studio, but anybody who's listening, it cuts you out of this from listening, and you'll have to listen in later. So I purposely slate the shows for 2.5 hours, so anybody who is listening, they can listen to the show in its entirety. If,
Yeah.
they want to.
So you're going to read this, and we're going to close it out then, it looks like, because I don't think Sky's calling.
Yeah.
She's probably at work.
That's the Joker's famous thing he went through all the quotes.
Yeah, well, I think we went through all the quotes. I mean,
Well, yeah.
you get to choose whatever you wanted to write to.
Yeah.
Then you didn't even have to write to a quote if you didn't want to, as long as it was somewhat Joker related.
Yeah, because we did have a few rights where they were speaking from the perspective of the Joker, and that was pretty cool too. Because, the Joker, he had his own division of the mind and how he saw reality.
Yeah.
So, okay, I will just read this last one. Then we are going to close up.
All right.
Yeah, I wrote this a while ago. I thought this was a cool picture because...
You going to sing a little Don McLean at the beginning?
Hell no.
Starry, starry night. No?
No. You're
Okay.
singing it, so there you go. That's good enough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this picture because, it was an interpretation of, Van Gogh's painting. But they added the Joker in there. And, of course, Heath Ledger from the Dark Knight. I thought this picture was pretty cool. So I had to write to it when I saw it 9 months ago. And I call it Ride to Nowhere. Starry, starry night of midnight awakenings. Golden sunshines paint the canvas of hazy ashes littered at my feet. Vincent van Gogh's sunflowers are dying in wilted winters. No moons would die tonight under red skies. Mind's eye view, maddening serenity on this adventure ride flowing through the hardened self.
The hardened self.
And poem.
Mm-hmm. Seems like every comment that I read for you always ends with wow. Oh, and I even
Yeah?
I even quoted that line too in my comment.
What'd you say?
The flowing through the hardened self. That because I know exactly what you're talking about on that. Of course, you hardening through experiences. Everybody hardens through experiences.
I do.
Some more than others, and depending on the experiences as well, it might harden you even more. But yeah, an excellent brevity. You are the queen of the brevity. For sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, you are.
I used to be, but I don't really write brevity so much these days. It's kind of hard to box myself into brevity. Lately, I'm becoming very winded when I speak. So, yeah. At that time, I did well in small form.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well done.
Well done.
done.
Well done. Pat on the shoulder, pat on the back.
I'm not going to pat you on the shoulder because you broke your shoulder.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. What Raz said on the board.
You looking at me wearing makeup by what do you call sunburns? You ain't looking at your own reflection. Joker quote.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Excellent. Play it out, hon. Let's close this up.
Okay. Well, you should stay on the board that we're closing up this stuff in case she does decide to call.
So she'll call 10 seconds after we end the show.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm gonna press play for our closer, and then we will say goodnight.
Yes, indeed.
Because we got all the rights read, so we're ready to go.
Hit it.
So I'm gonna hit it. just want to say thank you again to our new listeners that we gained.
Yes.
Because that brings us to 9? No, 10. 10. So, yeah, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Especially because, like I said, we gained 3 new countries in the span of a day. So, yeah. Thank you again to all of our listeners out there, because to see it with your own eyes when you go in there to get the other shows created, it does make it seem more real, and it shows that your hard work is paying off, because I do. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I really bust my ass with everything. It's not easy running a show, and when you're the one doing it, on your own with your partner, there is actually a lot of work that goes into it, the contest that we do, the topic boards, creating the links, running the show. It's actually in itself a job, and it's something that we do out of, our own time, because we want to. So thank you to all of our listeners. It's greatly appreciated.
Yes, and we always have a lot of fun, too. So
we do, and it's a good thing we enjoy each other's company, or else we'd be in trouble.
Yep. So don't forget to turn in Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's our next show. White Christmas and Holiday Inn.
Yes.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. Tomorrow's Saturday.
Tomorrow's Saturday.
Good night.
Good night.